fun means we're live, a casual take with your boy Stephen Pepper, here to give a take off my chest. So the New York Knicks could not force a game 7, so it's the Pacers in the NBA Finals for the first time since 2000. Jalen Brunson and Karl Towns just had a pretty poor offensive game, and the Pacers just outran the Knicks in that third quarter. But that's been the series in a nutshell. The Pacers outpaced the Knicks. The Knicks just couldn't match up with the speed of the Pacers. So here's the reality for this Knicks team, okay? Their conference finals was actually last round in the semifinals versus the Boston Celtics, because that's what they envisioned when they built this team the offseason, to go to the Eastern Conference Finals and dethrone the reigning champion Celtics. They brought in another two-way wing in Mikal Bridges. They bring in this stretch five in Karl Towns, a roster specifically designed to match up with the Celtics. And they did match up well with the Celtics, but it was in the second round. So when it was time to actually play the Eastern Conference Finals, it was clear they weren't built to match up with Indiana's speed. It's actually a similar situation to what happened to Minnesota last year in their conference finals run. The president of basketball operations came from Denver. So he built this Timberwolves team with the idea in mind of containing the Jokic and Murray duo. And they did match up with the Nuggets, but it was in the second round. So when they got to the conference finals and played Dallas, the whole Luka and Kyrie matchup was just totally different. So they ended up getting rolled. So again, the Knicks proved, albeit historically bad first couple of games, Boston shooting-wise and Tatum's Achilles, that they can hang in a series with the Boston Celtics. That's what they built their roster for. But when it was time to play the conference finals and match up with a different team in Indiana, the flaws of the Knicks team just ended up getting exposed, and that is they have one too many defensive liabilities in the open court, especially Karl Towns, who I think is a talented offensive player in his own right, really good. But this guy, when he's not hitting his shots, you can tell he is an atrocious defensive player. And even Knicks players and coaches, they noticed it. According to reports, Knicks players and coaches expressed frustration with Cat's defense and felt he was executing coverages incorrectly with no explanation as to why. Indiana likes to play with a lot of pace and transition and a lot of pick and roll with Halliburton in the half court. So they just picked on Karl Towns and drop coverage and in fast breaks, and Towns was lost. Indiana scored 46 transition points on Saturday. That's the series. That's your series in a nutshell. The margins Indiana won in transition. They outpaced the Knicks, and in part because Karl Towns' defensive balance on the floor was just atrocious. Pascal Siakam, his matchup, was getting free layup after free layup in transition because Cat just wasn't getting back. Or Miles Turner was exposing him in drop coverage and hitting jump shots. So let this series be a lesson for teams this summer. Don't build a squad specifically for one matchup. Instead, build a team that's the best team and the most versatile team possible. Because in today's NBA, there's never been more parity, or at least in the last 40 years. The elite teams are deeper than ever, and all these injuries to stars are happening. So there's no guarantee that the team that you think that you are going to have to get through will be there in that stage that you think it's going to be in. The league is so matchup based now. It's no longer you can just walk into a playoff run with, I got the best five, I'm going to win and go to the NBA Finals. That's how it used to be. And, I thought the Knicks had a better five than Indiana, but it didn't matter because the Indiana Pacers were just a bad matchup for him. The NBA that I grew up on, the 2010s, teams were just building squads to get through LeBron in the East or to match up with the Golden State Warriors dynasty. And, back then you could get away with that 10, 15 years ago because those teams were just guaranteed to be in the conference finals, to be in the NBA Finals, waiting for you. Today, that doesn't happen. We haven't had a repeat champion in the last 7 years. And in that same time span, the reigning champion hasn't gotten past the second round. So, I thought we were going to be on a collision course this whole season of the Knicks-Celtics Eastern Conference Finals. Ended up thinking it was going to be Cleveland during the season. But coming in the year, so did the Knicks, was going to be Celtics 1 seed, Knicks 2 seed. That's your conference finals, and that's what the Knicks built the team for. But what happened is they found them in the second round. And league is just so matchup dependent now that the Knicks ended up getting exposed in the conference finals. It's not a guarantee that the team that you think you're going to play in the big stage is going to be there for you. So I warn teams because you see the Oklahoma City Thunder, who I think are going to win the NBA championship in about 2 weeks. And given how young their core is, given how cheap their young core is, and how they have so many draft picks, the idea is they're going to be a dynasty. They're going to rattle off a couple championships. They're going to be the team to beat. But in today's NBA, it's no guarantee that you're going to see Oklahoma City in the finals or the Western Conference Finals. Giannis can go to Houston or San Antonio and throw a whole monkey wrench in this whole thing. So I just think after this, this run for the Knicks, the reality is they built a team for Boston, but they did not have the team ready for Indiana, and it costed them in this conference finals. And I think going forward, this offseason is going to be pretty big with the Kevin Durant trade, with the Giannis trade, and Oklahoma City with the looming dynasty. The team should just focus on building the best and most versatile team possible, not a squad specifically designed for one matchup. But let me know what you guys think. I appreciate everyone tuning in this episode of A Casual Take. Follow my social media. Stay updated on all things related to the show. Until next time, see you.